Welcome to The Girl Herd,
where we talk Texas football.
and a bunch of takes you probably already heard.
But not from us.
Hey Hardies, what's going on? Fun draft weekend for our Longhorns. So exciting.
I know. I hate that everyone's non-Longhorns are making it such a thing. Longhorns are all excited. We love who got drafted and how much fun they had.
That was so fun. I mean, I think what you gonna do? I laugh because we're in the discourse. We have a whole podcast, so we are part of it. And I was thinking about it over the weekend because I didn't understand the conversation. And a lot of the Longhorns were saying that too. Like, what happened is like what we all knew and expected. But I mean, we're like more than 100 days out from season. There's not a lot to talk about. So, of course, poking fun at us is going to be the thing that's funny for the time being. But yeah, it kind of didn't work. It was funny.
I mean, if we're going to really also talk about it, the national championship team had one person drafted in the first two rounds. Like, it just is how things go at this point in college football. And yes, any chance that they're going to get, they're going to talk some shit to us. And that's just a given at this point.
I saw someone posted about, Texas schools and it was like A&M and then Tech and then Texas. And I was like, okay. Even Kieran was like, I'm just realizing A&M just wants to win at anything against us. But fine, you can have it.
Grabbing at straws at this point.
Yeah. Goalposts, right? About Texas and like dunking on us and all of that. But I do think the point's really compelling about just sports in general. Because with Indiana, they were speaking about that team and how it was built up, and then they won. And then, of course, still Michigan, all transfers for their basketball team, and just how much everything is changing so quickly. So, I mean, again, I'm just proud of our Longhorns that did get the spotlight. And, I guess we're all Miami Dolphins now. So that's kind of fun, too.
I love that conversation. Everybody's like, apparently we need to buy Dolphins jerseys and go to Dolphins games in Miami at this point, which, yes, love Miami. Let's go. But the videos of Quinn and Tap are so cute, and how excited they are to be back on the same team is adorable. Like the same magic that they had at Texas, and it's just going to be duplicated.
I loved the response. He was like, all right, your best friends over here, let's pick them off in practice. I was like, yes, this is the energy everyone wants. Coming for you. Yeah. But I agree. It was hard to see, us having a Titans player. I'm like, oh, I don't love the Tennessee Titans. I can't root for them after they stole the Oilers.
The Texans should have gotten Anthony. Why did they not? That would have been perfect for D'Amico. And perfect for us, selfishly, obviously.
Yeah, I know. Every time you watch, you're like, this is why I love college versus NFL. And you're like, but now I'm going to root for these guys regardless of where they are in the NFL. I'm just excited for them, but some are harder than others.
And I saw too, you talked about Texas in general, Michelle, and they're saying the number of draftees from the state, right? Not where they went to school, but just that they're from the state of Texas surmounts or surpasses any other state, which is also exciting. No matter who you're rooting for, what school, that's really cool to say about the state that we live in and the type of talent that this state is producing for college and NFL football.
Yeah, for sure. It is exciting. And of course, we love to kind of toot our horns. I know Florida will have a word to say. I know Georgia will. I know Louisiana definitely will, and California too. So that conversation is always a good time. But for us, we're all from here and we stand 10 toes down on the product that we put out. And you see it in the NFL every Sunday. It's so cool to see where these people came from originally. And a lot of them right here in Texas, and a lot of them not even from the big cities. I didn't text this to y'all, but I am so curious. I didn't text it because I was like, I'm literally answering what Michelle thinks in my head. So I was like, I'm not going to say it. But of course I was scrolling and I saw the news that Diego Pavia, not only was he not drafted, he didn't become signed at all either. And so I was like, oh, wow. I personally find that to be shocking, honestly, given his resume. if you're speaking just from that, not from anything else, not from people's personal opinions about him, from a resume perspective, I was like, oh, this is very interesting. So I'm curious y'all's thoughts on it.
Michelle, you want to go first? You have thoughts.
Well, I think it's funny because I like literally so I was out on Saturday with some friends and I was like, did y'all see Diego Pavia is the first Heisman finalist that, is going undrafted. And of course, some people were like, what does that mean? Some people were like, wait, what? And then I had further to that, like people sent me some stuff today and they were like, oh my gosh, like sending me memes and reels that were happening. And now I guess it's, the phone listened to us, so it's popping up on their stuff. But and so they were like, I didn't realize, why people are saying it, blah, blah, blah. And it was, I literally thought, Devin, of like a pod, that we had and how we all talked about this and
We did.
whether how his attitude comes off or can be perceived or this, that, and the other. And so I thought, man, like look, like we've said this before. I love what he's done. I love what he did for Vanderbilt. He's a player. He wants to play. He wants to win. So in that aspect, I was kind of surprised. The other aspect is like we talk about culture all the time and attitude and personality, and that's become a huge part of like all different, teams and such. And so the last part, like the Heisman run, and then afterwards, like it just didn't bode well for him. And he even posted something on Instagram and took it down and was like, F the NFL, blah, blah, blah. Like, come on, man. Like you can't, I don't want that for you, right? Like I want better for you. Don't do that. So
Lessons have not been learned. But I do think it's interesting this year. It was a theme, right? Even with Carson Beck of like being in your villain era as a quarterback was not perceived well by the NFL. And that just goes to show like how much these teams and how much the league cares about a public appearance. And if you're about to be the face of their team, they don't want to deal with it. And it's huge. Like you have to be thinking about that unless you want to mess with your money. And hard lessons to learn. And I do think that if he does right, like he has the athletic ability to be able to get on a team. He just is going to have to do some deep diving into his personal like self growth realm of like, okay, this is like a whole different world. You're not in college anymore. This is like an adult business.
Yeah. I mean, I think ultimately he's going to land on his feet. Like he is a fighter. If there's anything else, if there's nothing else that you like about him, I think we can all respect that he is a fighter. And I didn't watch the draft on Saturday when like they were doing all the Shador stuff and finding out why he was dropping last year and whatnot. So I don't know on the broadcast that they were speaking about Diego. And I do wonder, again, outside of all the silliness, if there was something there that was making the NFL like not want to kind of consider him. And the one person that comes to mind is Kyler Murray because like he went into the NFL and at first he was doing really well and now his height has gotten in the way. I mean, it's no shock that Diego is not the tallest person. So outside of all of the jabs and things that he does that are immature, it's like that part plus the off the field. But I mean, you got to think a lot of these players, they're just also wild too, but they don't play the position. So there's so many factors because when you're a quarterback, it's just kind of a different level.
yeah, and I was even watching like something that someone sent me was him talking about how he doesn't have an agent and he didn't want any agency to take money from him. And so like, and maybe there's obviously benefit to that, right? Like they know how to work things, they know how to have conversations and talk to people and get you out there. So I don't know if that's part of it.
I also didn't look further into that because I had heard that too. And someone said, and again, I did not go like fact check this, but someone said that yes, that was true. But then for the NFL, he did have one, so that he didn't have an agent in those conversations prior for his college stuff, and he was representing himself. But that for the draft, he had gotten one. I'll have to go look that up. I have no clue if that's actually the case. But yeah, Michelle, to your point, like if he doesn't have one, then that probably didn't help him.
Yeah, fair. I did
David
not
Bolingetta at that point.
Yeah. Did y'all see David, by the way? He was on TV Thursday. I was like, he went to our school. He's right there. I was like showing Frank. It's so exciting.
Yes, he is crushing it in this industry. And I mean, if he can get Deshaun Watson another contract after all the things, Diego, what's a little teeny tiny blip in your radar?
Well, that's the thing. Like, people were talking about our draftees and how we had, didn't go double digit, whatever. Well, how many got signed afterwards, right? Like, it was more than how many we got drafted. So, yeah, plenty of people get picked up afterwards. There's plenty of stuff that keeps going on. So, yes, I agree. Lots of players will land on their feet.
Right. And of course, like we mentioned, Diego Pavia, he did get invited to Baltimore Ravens minicamp. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with him there, if anything amounts to anything for him.
So I saw this question and I was going to ask you guys your thoughts. Y'all know we love Jack injuries, but there's like conversation swirling about him of if he should have stayed another year at Texas versus going into the draft and where he got signed and et cetera. To you guys, what are your thoughts?
I mean, Jack was great. First of all, shout out to his dad. He's a longtime supporter of the Girl Herd and always interacts with us on Twitter. And so I was really happy to see, him do well over the weekend and go to the next level and hit the pros. And I don't know. I mean, it's just one of those like hypothetical questions. Like they were talking about Quinn and how it was good that Arch stayed back because Quinn did it, but then Quinn went 7th round. So it's like you can't go with the hypotheticals. I think everything will turn out fine. He's a great tight end. Selfishly, of course, we always want the players to stay back, but I don't know what difference it would have really made.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, I remember we talked about this in season, and we were hoping he was coming back. So, like, my first thought is like, yeah, selfishly, we wanted him to. Do I know how that would have impacted him draft wise? I don't know. And you guys know how I feel about hypotheticals in general. But like, I mean, there was so much saying that like Arch would have gone first round this draft. Like, come on, like, do we really think so? I don't know, right? Like, again, and there's so much that can happen in the draft and where you go, but like, you got to prove it on any given Sunday or whenever you end up playing Monday night. I don't know these days, but Thursday. But anyways, yeah, like it. I don't know. What do you think, Anne?
Yes, same. I was going to literally say selfishly, I wish he would have stayed because we do love him so much. He is a veteran. He's so good at catching the ball. And now, too, with Cam Coleman on our roster and all of these other, like, I feel like he would have had a time, right? Like, what were defenses going to do with all of these weapons that we have on offense? But I thought it was also interesting. Rod, who is on Third and Longhorn and other pods, Michelle, I feel like y'all would get along. He loves analytics and like numbers, stats.
I do.
But
I have heard him before.
Yes, he was talking about how many tight ends went in this draft. And because of like 13 personnel becoming more popular and all of these things, it was like the most tight ends since like the early 2000s or something along those lines, which I think is astonishing too. And we've talked about that of like knowing who all's coming out like next year and all the quarterbacks that are going to be coming out. The draft is going to be insane, but you never know, right? Like I am also excited for him to move on and get this next step under his belt, but always like we hate to see the ones that we love leave, especially when they could have had more time.
You know what? This is making me think about our tight ends, though, because I feel like we spent so much time talking about the wide receivers. I'm like, wait a second. I actually don't really know anything about the tight ends right now. I've read up a little bit, but I'm like, that actually is kind of a question mark now and something that we will need. So I'm really curious to see what happens because that's only going to further open things up, like you were referring to, Angie. But there's not been a lot of noise when it comes to that position for us this year.
I was because I was reading, Inside Texas and seeing because of course just talked on the shorts about rooms, and I was like, is there anything I'm missing before I misspeak? And they had it on tight end, so I was about to say the same of like they actually said they don't know who that who that guy is going to be and like being able to catch balls and who's that's going to land. So further to my selfishness of injury, I wish he stayed for that sense as well. But I also hope someone steps up and turns into that guy. But.
And we used to be that university, like Jermichael Finley, and just like that used to be what we did. And now, I mean, Sanders, of course, he was there with us for Sugar Bowl year, but
and Helm,
we kind of haven't, we kind of haven't had that guy at that role, and that would just honestly change the game for us right now.
And that also makes me wonder if what they've been focusing on for spring is really getting them accustomed to blocking. like getting out and blocking and helping the run game or helping whatever it is, so that they really, their names aren't being called as much because they're not catching or they're not making all these big plays down the field. But you're right, like I remember our days and the tight end, like Blaine Irby, like all these names that we loved a tight end play. And so I am, like, who's it going to be? Which one of you in this tight end room is about to be a little breakout person that we just aren't prepared for?
I don't know, but I got really excited about them saying that Cam Coleman is really good at blocking and he's embracing it, because when you have your star wideout doing things the right way and being disciplined and doing things like blocking, that is such a good sign for just like the tone that will be set within the team. So tight end, I don't know, but we are going to be having some blocking out there, and I'm ready to see these new running backs.
I know. We've had like so much hype around everything, and like everything I keep saying is like, okay, now we're post spring and I want to see stuff in the next few months and then I'm like, honestly, I just want to see stuff in season. Like y'all can do so much now, but like you gotta show me in real life, you know?
And I saw something too that was crazy on him. He's never been to a bowl game, which is insane to me for the level of talent he is. He just right team now he is.
Now he is.
But now he is. He found the right home. But yeah, it's amazing to me just where college football is these days. And some of the kids, they have never experienced those things or just been on a team that continues to get beat and beat. And now they're at a school like Texas, who the expectation, like we talked about, is to win. So we're going to see how that meshes with our veterans.
Well, and like you said, bowl game, but even like, Sark, when he was just in this interview with Josh Payton, he's like, you want to play 15, 16 games. Like the end goal is to go to the playoffs, period, like, so, which we all have said.
Speaking of playoffs, this conversation about the expansion. What is the right answer? I don't know. And they keep comparing it to the NFL and how many teams are in the NFL and how many go to playoffs versus the vast amount of teams in college and the odds and how crazy different they are for college football and who gets to go in the playoffs. But then also the cap is never going to end, right? Because people are always going to make that argument.
Yep.
Someone's multiple people were saying it, and not Arch. Oh my gosh, what am I saying right now? I'm like losing my mind. Arch actually
love to know what Arch thinks.
Arch thinks about all this, but it was Mac Brown. I liked what he said, which was this idea of it should be all of like the Power 4 or Power 5, and then the smaller schools, because right now what's getting messed up is just all these automatic qualifications and all these random things that you're having to put into the top 12. If you could take that out and let them have their own tournament, I actually think that's the best solution, but still keeping it a 12-team playoff for the major teams. I like that the most. I don't like expanding it. I think that's weird. Like, these kids are already playing so many games. And then someone also mentioned, and we've talked about this too, the season being pushed back a bit because it goes to January 20th. And it's just insane. That's when football is supposed to be done. You're in your winter semester. And we talked heavily about how we feel that affected our run last year because we had done it 2 years prior, and then trying to go and duplicate that again for a third time, it weighs on you. And so that's my thought on it.
Yeah. I think it'll be never ending. Like, we're all still figuring it out. Whatever they do, people are gonna have thoughts about it, of course. But I did see the thing of NFL, it's about, what half the teams kind of go, ours is the stats are even, crazier, of how many people don't get to go on that run or do those things. But yeah, I mean, last year, let's be honest, there were a couple teams that got in it that I think even they didn't think they should get in it just because of some automatic bids. So that's kind of wild, but I don't know. I don't know what's best. I don't know what they're actually going to do. I do know things you should pay attention to get into the playoff, but.
Well, that was going to be my other thing. Don't change the format, but stop being cowards and put the best teams in. AKA, you should have put the 9-3 team last year. That team is named Texas. And I mean, I told y'all what I said on text. I will not verbalize it here because I just don't want to put that too much out in the universe. But I could see that happening. We're like almost the same exact situation, but then they like let it happen. But we're just going to make sure that doesn't happen and we're going to win the game. I did make sure y'all look at shorts this week on IT, by the way. I liked Angie's prediction. She does a way too early season prediction. And I'd be happy with that. So I would live with that. And we wouldn't have to deal with the 3 losses.
I was also laughing because I'm doing research right of like what I'm going to say and what my prediction is. Somebody gave also a very early prediction for Ohio State and said that they think that Ohio State is going to lose 3 games this year. And I was like, if that does happen, but then also we play an extra SEC conference game as well. Yeah. So I think that then the scales teeter with that as well. And I mentioned that in my shorts this week too. And CDC mentioned it last week when I went to that panel of we kind of shot ourselves in the foot with doing that and jumping the gun to these 9 games, which yes, like it is brutal. These guys are taking a beating and then you want an extra SEC game and then it blows into 2. Like the whole talk, like, is the Big Ten better? Is the SEC better? I'm like, let's look at the Chiefs, okay? And we're having to play 9 intense teams. What are you guys doing up there?
Yeah, they couldn't have picked the worst time to do that. Like, we have no freaking weight anymore after we're not winning the Natty over and over and over again, the Big Ten recency bias, and then you are going to put us on a 9-game schedule, and we're going to try to go to the committee and be like, oh my gosh, like all of us have 3 losses. It's like nightmare scenario, honestly.
Yeah, I know when I was nightmare scenario. But when I was watching like Sark's interview and he was saying, because Josh, of course, Pate was like asking him about all these games and how you do and when do you want to be playing your best games and like do you do something different when you have all of these games and you still need to go this long season and all these and like what Sark's answer was, I was like, preach, like this is all we've been talking about. And he was like, yeah, like we didn't play our best ball at first. He's like, I'd like to, a few plays back. Those are what haunt me and that's what I think about. And he's like, but by the end, we were playing our best football. That's what you want to be doing by Thanksgiving, which is exactly what we were doing. And we didn't get it, and I was like, yeah, same was said about Ohio State the year before. Got in. Like, there's just so many things. But yeah, like I have thought about that a lot because, of course, we have, Ohio State as our second game. Should that game be hard? No, but like, do I think we should have won last year? If we would have been playing how we were a little bit later? Absolutely. Like, no problem, So,
yeah,
there's so many
I do
things.
like that part of the conversation because they do say, right, like your team wants to hit their stride. Like on Mario, it makes me think of Mario when you hit that superpower going up a ramp and you just that was us at the end of the season, and that's when you want your team to be at peak performance. So what's really going on, like we will never know, but this year I think is going to be a little bit different in the conversation.
But y'all, like the road to get here though, like I don't think we're like, and I'm proud of us, by the way, because we have just stayed in it no matter, but like the soul crushingness of the process. Like one of my dad's best friends, he has this saying, and it's like they want the glory, but they don't know the story. And that's like what we've gone through, the story of 2023. Like we are 1 game away from playing in Houston, Texas for a natty. We were right there. We were 1 more score away. So that goes away. 2024, we go all up to Dallas. We are playing in Dallas. We're playing home.
We endured the snow, okay?
And then we like don't go to the natty again. So like that happens. And then you mean to tell me we run it back? We got Arch at QB1 and then like we don't even go to the playoffs. So I'm going to need everybody on the team to like remember that. And I'm going to need them to get out on that field from the very first whistle to the end of the season and just go off on everybody. Like, I don't care what it takes, but like, I need that to be the energy. Cause I feel like we're just like, yeah, like, we did good. We had top 4 finishes 2 years in a row and now we're reloading. But it's like, no, don't forget because like, it's been a long road.
I feel like we need to go and like, how they tape things around the facility and the inside in the locker rooms. We need to help come up with a slogan, or they also need to do like a highlight reel, but to get them amped up about all the disappointments and the letdowns over the years. Like this, do you want this to be you? Okay.
Oh,
Let's
I'm
fix
sure
it.
Blake just like plays his like play from Texas
Yes.
Tech like on the loop. I'm sure he
Literally.
just like plays it on a loop for us to play.
Literally.
Come on.
No, I mean, like, I think of that too, Devin. Like, when we did all the stuff and we were talking about Gideon, the number of comments we still got that are like, I will never forget that game. I'm like, my gosh, y'all.
I mean, I won't
Can we
either.
forget?
I was in Miami. Oh, that the Natty was in Miami that year. I was in Miami in my head mentally. And then like he dropped the ball and it was like, oh no. And then they
No.
scored and it was like, oh, this is actually horrible. Yeah.
I
But that's
also,
what-
y'all was dying when Connor asked us about Blake, and he was like, he seems like he's in such his grandpa era, dad era right now, which also kills me. It cracks me up because I can so see it. I can see him in like his little hoodie and his coach's gear, like, like get over
Turning
here,
into his
son.
dad.
Like,
Yes.
Well, they were talking about Muschamp too and how he's like yelling, but now he has his like glasses on the end of his nose and he's like, oh my God, which I love. Like, hey, look, don't talk about these people like they're too old, okay? They're our era. But yes, I know, like Stark was saying that all he can remember are, of course, the bad times. And he says that's what he does say to the players of like, you'll never know when that one play is that you'd be one play away of making a game changer, you know? So I want that energy. That's the energy of this season at this point.
The energy is leave no stone unturned, leave no doubt out here. Like, I don't care who it is. I want like 50-0 every game.
same. Do not take your foot off that gas. You better punch it in the end zone every dang time. I don't even care.
Wouldn't that be amazing, y'all? Like if we just crushed everyone, I would be
Can
so happy.
Can you envision a season where we're not in the stands, like death gripping each other's arms, like whoa, like our emotions going like this?
It's time to be
Man, I
the
wouldn't
elite of
even
the
know.
league. That's what we are.
Yeah.
White knuckle
That's-
playing.
Yeah, literally. Okay, as we're talking about future into the season, Michelle, I know you're gonna love this question. You love predictions. But literally, before the ink was even dried on these NFL contracts, they're already releasing like mock drafts for next year. And I think they had 3 or 4 Longhorns in the top 10. Top 10,
Yeah.
which is insane.
Yeah, but that's one of the arguments people were making, though. Billy Lucci was saying that about us, and he was like, well, man, next year, Sark's putting all his eggs in one basket, and so we better see this, that, and the third, because blah, 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 they have all these top 10 picks, which, cool, like, I don't disagree. I don't think anyone does. But yeah, it should be really, really fun. I'm very excited to see Colin Simmons. I think he left some gas in the tank, and he said it himself. Like, he was pressing too much at the start of the season, and I think was just like overly eager, but he now has a maturity to himself, and I think he's just going to be such a joy to watch, and I can't wait.
And I think that Muschamp is really going to play to his strengths. And Colin likes to be physical and aggressive. And he and Muschamp, I feel like, are the perfect little combo. He's going to like scheme up some stuff just to let him annihilate people and like go ham.
I'm ready. I want that kind of defense.
Same. Bring back like the Brian Arakpo eras. There's like craziness on the field.
The motto of this year is actually all gas, no brakes.